let me just linger on this for a second about the Jets. I've been talking about it quite a bit, and I've been holding off from talking about. You don't talk about a team that's got 4 wins, right? Too often.
We've been a Jets-free zone for a little bit,
but just again, this is one of the most disappointing Jets seasons I can remember, and there's a lot of them. There's a ton of them, and at the end of the day, we will look back at the Aaron Rodgers 2 years with the Jets as one of the most disappointing 2-year runs the Jets have ever put together. That's how bad it is. It started with a kick in the nards from the football gods that 5 snaps in, his Achilles snaps in his first season. Then he comes back and he's a shadow of himself half the time. The other half of the time, there's something else that's happening. The owner fires the coach, and he fires him after week 5. And the spark that he gets from firing the head coach is 2 wins, grand total. 2. That's it. The spark. You got 2 wins. According to The Athletic, the 1 win that they got, first one they got, Aaron Rodgers was going to give the game ball to Jeff Ulbrich, the interim head coach. But I guess he was out on the Prime Video set chit-chatting. And in the interim, according to The Athletic, the owner's 17-year-old son was already giving out the game ball to Garrett Wilson instead, who had an incredible catch.
Right.
But just weird stuff. Worst.
That's what you were talking about.
Weird stuff, to say the least, coming out in reports about what's going on in the front office and the owner's suite and the quarterback and the coaches and the interim head coach basically saying after every loss, when the New York media is asking him to evaluate Aaron Rodgers' performance, and he's like, I got to look at the tape. And Rodgers is going to start week 18, I guess, because he's not going to bench Aaron Rodgers. And then this performance against the Bills. Unfortunately for the Jets, the way everything broke, this game was in front of the Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, CBS audience, which means CBS put this game in as many households as they possibly could in the late window. The early window. As many as they possibly could see. Got to see the Jets roll over against the Buffalo Bills. Just roll over. It was just the week before, Drake May and the Patriots gave the Bills a scare. Actually took a lead. Jets didn't score till the fourth quarter. Aaron Rodgers, the one play that everyone's talking about from that game from him was him throwing a dreadful interception over the middle. Who knows whose fault it is?
Well, it wasn't Aaron's. We know that.
I mean, you never know. I mean, honestly, receivers aren't in certain spots, and it happens. I don't know. Then he gets called for shoving someone out of bounds. As the Jets now just rolled over. And I thought to myself, is Woody Johnson about to become the first owner in the NFL to fire his interim? Because
interim to the interim?
I don't know.
Has that ever happened?
I doubt it, but it was worth giving that a shot. I don't know. And then then Ian Rappaport, my colleague, reports on NFL Network yesterday that Garrett Wilson is sitting around wondering what his future with the Jets is, and that if it does include Aaron Rodgers being there, he'd consider asking to get out. And I guarantee you will see, I mean, I'm assuming, I don't know, so I shouldn't guarantee. You'll see Rodgers on McAfee's show tomorrow pushing back on that report, I am sure. But the fact that these reports exist, I mean, does everybody have knives out for 8? Everybody? Is that what it is? Do we have to check their vaccination status before we confirm whether the people have the knives out for it? It's just enough's enough. And I'll just say this. If there is literally anybody in the Jets front office that's still going to be around that is thinking of trading away Garrett Wilson, you leave too. You leave too. And if there's any of the Jets general manager candidates who come in and say, you need so much help, which I don't think they do. You need so much help that we need to trade away Garrett Wilson to get draft choices, then that's not your general manager. Again, we don't know what happened in Tennessee. You see John Robinson's name, the former general manager there. You're going to hire the guy who sent away A.J. Brown rather than pay him? Unless it wasn't his call. I mean, the Jets can probably figure that out. I'm only bringing that up because there's a report Garrett Wilson could be sent away. He's the problem. 2 years ago, he was Rookie of the Year. I don't know what to make of this anymore. Other than the fact it's just, honestly, when it is all said and done, when Aaron Rodgers goes into the Pro Football Hall of Fame as a first ballot Hall of Famer, whenever that day happens, 5 years after he does stop playing, if there's a Jet jersey there, it'll be like ironic. He wouldn't want to remember a single second of this. Why would he want to? It's been a total disaster for him and for the team and for the franchise and for the owner and for the front office. There's a lot of loose lips. There's a lot of people telling stories anonymously to a lot of people, and it does not reflect well on the ownership or the front office or anybody. It doesn't reflect well on the quarterback. What did you see somebody, Sauce Gardner?
Yeah, Sauce, yeah.
He put on an Instagram
under a T. Higgins.
Under T. Higgins, like, pay that man.
Yeah.
And somebody said you should have him come to the Jets. You should try and get him to come to the Jets. And he basically hard passed that.
Yeah, quote, I will not be telling him that.
Yeah, meaning what? Meaning that it's so bad here that I wouldn't tell somebody who's that good to join me? Smash cut to when Rodgers first showed up. It was the spot everyone wanted to be at. You had a defensive rookie of the year, and you had an offensive rookie of the year. That team needs so many parts that you need to consider trading away Garrett Wilson. I don't know what to believe anymore, because it is just wild to think that the owner would not make a trade based on someone's Madden rating. I mean,
in the game.
You got to get this thing handled. This season can't end soon enough.
But what are you going to do? You going to bring him back next year?
Rodgers? No way. Why would he want to come back? He asked out of the game yesterday. He even basically said to Ulbrich, he had to give the interim head coach permission to take him out, because the interim head coach is not going to be benching Aaron Rodgers in a game in which they haven't scored a single point, even though any quarterback that is part of that, you'd have to consider taking out, certainly at an advanced age like that. Rodgers has basically said he had to, it's what the way I interpreted it, he gave the head coach permission to take him out. You can't have, that's not the way to run a team. I don't think Rodgers would want any part of that either. I mean, I think he wants a part of Devontae Adams, but the Jets aren't their fantasy camp. You think Adams wants to have any part of this? If Sauce Gardner is telling a fan, I'm not telling T. Higgins to come here by any stretch of the imagination, who wants a piece of that? And that's the way they're going into getting whoever takes this job, front office and head coach, has got as big an issue as I can remember of anyone that comes in, and that's saying a lot.
I mean, Rodgers has about 40 million reasons to come back next year.
I get it. I don't know why he'd want to. I don't know why he'd want any part of this.
Well, clearly he's someone who cares about legacy and what people think about him. Despite what he says, it's obvious his actions show otherwise.
Then he should go find another spot. But it worked out better. Like, if he's already on the Favre plan, Favre leading the Jets wound up going to the NFC Championship game. So find a better spot.
Well, you'd be a bridge guy in Tennessee, New Orleans. I
don't know if those are not teams that are close. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.